afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out today for our Baby Buds performance from week 1 of summer camp. This week, Miss Maggie and I have been working with all these talented actors all week on imagination games and warming up our 3 instruments, our bodies, our imaginations, and our voices. And they've taken us on some many adventures this week. But we've also been working on what actors have to do to prepare a play. So we've decided to dramatize Click, Clack, Moo, How's That Type? By Doreen Cronin and Betsy Lewin for you today. So our animals are all in their places and our farmer, excellent. We will begin. It was early morning on Farmer Brown's farm, and all the animals and Farmer Brown were still asleep. The ducks were the first to awake, and the ducks sat up, stretched their wings, and quacked their first morning quack. And they decided to take a dip in the pond. And they swam around the pond enjoying their beautiful day. But it was a little boring in that pond because they swam around it every day. The animals in the barn were the next to awake. The cows and our chicken slowly rose from their evening slumber and stretched and moved. Then Farmer Brown woke up last, of course, the good farmer, and was getting ready for a day of hard work on the farm. Now, as he went outside of his house, he heard a strange noise coming from the barn. He heard... And Farmer Brown said, "Cows that type? Impossible!" But the cows kept typing.
Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo.
And then one of the cows delivered a message to Farmer Brown. And Farmer Brown read it, and the message said, "Dear Farmer Brown,
Dear Farmer Brown,
the barn is very cold at night.
the barn is very cold at night.
We'd like some electric blankets.
We'd like some electric blankets.
Sincerely, the cows."
Sincerely, the cows.
Now, it was not bad enough that the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn, but now they wanted electric blankets, and Farmer Brown said,
No way.
"No electric blankets for you."
No electric blanket for you.
So the cows decided to go on strike. They made picket signs, and they marched around the barnyards shouting, "No, milk." And they posted a sign that said, "Sorry, we're closed. No milk today."
Sorry, we're closed. No milk today.
Farmer Brown said, "No milk."
No milk.
But in the background, he kept hearing that same familiar sound.
Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo.
And the next day, he got a note from the animals in the barn again. And they brought him a note, and this note said, "Dear Farmer Brown." Oh, there you go. Slow delivery. Just and this note said, "Dear Farmer Brown,
Dear Farmer Brown,
the hens are cold too.
the hens are cold too.
They'd like electric blankets.
Electric blankets.
Sincerely, the cows and the hens."
Sincerely, the cows and the hens.
Now, Farmer Brown was getting very angry, and he yelled, "No eggs,
No eggs.
no milk,
No milk.
impossible."
Impossible.
And the cows and the hen went on strike, and they marched around that barnyard and they shouted,
No milk. No eggs. No milk. No eggs. No milk. No eggs. No milk.
and all Farmer Brown heard was that same familiar sound.
Clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo.
And Farmer Brown said, "Cows that type,
Cows that type.
hens on strike.
Hens that type.
Who ever heard of such a thing? How could I run a farm with no milk and eggs?" Farmer Brown was furious. Show him your furious face, Farmer Brown. And he decided to type his own letter. And his letter said, "Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. Your cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Now, he was too angry to go to the barn and deliver the message himself, so he called over to the duck pond and called those ducks to come deliver that message. They were an impartial party. So the ducks took the letter to the barnyard and gave it to the cows and the hen, and they had a little meeting. And all night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. The next morning, Duck knocked on Farmer Brown's door. And they handed him a note. Go get the note, Emersyn. Here you go. And this note said, ready, ducks, deliver your message, dear Farmer Brown.
Dear Farmer Brown,
We will exchange our typewriter
we will exchange our typewriter
for electric blankets.
for electric blankets.
Leave them outside the barn door,
Leave them outside the barn door.
and Duck will deliver the typewriter.
Duck will deliver the typewriter.
Sincerely, cows, hens, and ducks.
Sincerely, cows, hens, and ducks.
So the ducks went back to their pond with the typewriter. And Farmer Brown decided to go deliver electric blankets to the cows and hens. And as the cows and hens took their blankets and cozied up in the barn, Farmer Brown went back to his house and waited for that typewriter. And he waited, and he waited. But the typewriter never showed up. Instead, he heard from the side of the pond, dear Farmer Brown.
Dear Farmer Brown,
The pond is quite boring.
the pond is quite boring.
We'd like a diving board.
We like the diving board.
Sincerely, the ducks.
Sincerely, the duck.
Click, clack, quack.
Click, clack, quack.
Click, clack, quack.
Click, clack, quack.
Clickety, clack, quack. And Farmer Brown delivered them the diving board. And they delivered him the typewriter.
Nice.
And everyone was peaceful on Farmer Brown's farm. The end.
Yay! Wonderful!